Equipped with a postgraduate degree from the distinguished Purdue University, USA, Dr. Jaisri is an expert on speaking about role of lifestyle change in diseases and alternative methods of stress management. Throughout her career, she has been involved in research on yoga, pranic healing, meditation, effect of listening to music, and effects of going against the biological clock of sleep and wakefulness, something so relevant to today. Growing up in a family that adhered to many customs and beliefs, Dr. Jaishree began questioning the validity of these practices as she grew older. Her intrigue led to the discovery of many of these that were based on scientific facts. This gave her the impetus to delve into the impact of belief in humans. To Dr. Jaishree Goturu.
A very good morning to all of you. First, I do my pranams to God and my gurus and all the great people on and off the dais. And I'm a very small person compared to many of you, but I would like to share whatever I have gone through in my life with you to show you that the modern day science and our beliefs are very, very relevant and they are connected with each other. From the morning, most of the things that have been talked, we know that it is true, it is in the Vedas, it is in our religion, and so on. But modern day scientists just cannot be made to understand that is 100% true. So what we are trying to do is, we know that many of these things are true, and we want to give scientific evidence in a way that the scientists cannot say you are wrong. They have to accept it. That is have been my journey for many, many years. And I'll take you through a few of what we have done, most of which have been proved and have been published in international journals, some which have not been in international journals but have been talked about in various conferences. Okay, so go on to the next slide, please. I'm starting with a very simple thing. This is the Wikipedia's definition. The first thing any of our children do nowadays, don't know anything, Google. And the first thing they do is go to Wikipedia. And this is what Wikipedia says, that belief is a state of the mind in which a person thinks something to be the case. We know it is true. If you believe it is true, we say it's a belief. If you believe there is God, that is a belief. If you believe there is no God, that is also a belief. You can't say, I don't believe. That is your belief, this is my belief, that's all. Nobody is without a belief. So some of these beliefs have scientific evidence and factual certainty. Some don't have it. But that doesn't mean that it is wrong. Maybe science has not yet progressed to that level. That is what has happened. First, please bear with me. It will be a very scientific thing. So I ask you to bear with me a little bit. Next slide, please. So when we think about belief, what is this belief? Is there a certain part of the brain which is important in making this belief possible? All right, below I have given you the article. You can take it. It is very much published. And scientific studies have been done that if one part of the brain is stimulated, the belief process becomes better. Whereas if the other part of the brain is stimulated, that belief process does not become better. So there is a part of the brain which is important to nurture belief. And if that part of the brain is damaged, then the belief system of that person is damaged. I don't think many of us will think of belief in those terms. But it has been proved with experimental evidence that the brain is very much part of the belief. And we know that some people, we say they are mad. Maybe they are not mad. Maybe this part of their brain is what has been affected. Okay? Now I'll take you through a series of the studies that we have done and the projects which have done based on belief. Next slide. So, music, Vedas, Samaveda, it's full of music. Why are we so interested in music? We have certain music to make you calm. We have certain music to make you very, before an army, before you went for fight. Also, there was music to make people strong and brave. So music has so many effects. So if we look at it, the next slide please, and these are there. In Tanjavur, Raga Chikitsa is there, Samaveda. We have innumerable evidences that music is connected with our body and health. Next slide. So some of these ragas have been written that this is the main effect of this raga. Kapi is said to evoke a cool, soothing, and deep mood. Neelambari, I'm sure all of you know, whenever you go to a music concert, one of the last things they sing is Neelambari to put you to sleep. And nowadays, we have certain even news ads where that fellow will sing Amritavarshini and it will be raining. If you know the paint ad, that fellow will say, his daughter, please go away, let him stop singing Amritavarshini so that my function can go on. So I'm sure all of us know in India that ragas have a lot of effect. So nowadays, what is important is most of our diseases, especially in the older generation, is psychosomatic or lifestyle diseases. The commonest lifestyle diseases, anybody you go above 40, 45, ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಯಾಬಿಟಿಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ, ನಿಮಗೆ blood pressure ಇದೆಯಾ, ಏನೋ ದೊಡ್ಡದು, if they have some big wealth, and how to manage it. That is how they talk. Okay, next slide please. So we have done certain studies. One of the first studies, whenever we say a study, we love this model, randomized controlled trial. What is random? Without selection. And control. One group will be experimental group, one group will be control group. So the experimental group will receive, both of them will receive similar things. The experimental group will receive something in addition to the control group. That's all there is. So one person does that, the other person doesn't do that. Finally, we try to do certain experimental to see, so measure certain parameters to see what is the effect. So depending on what we want to find out, we have certain tests. It could be a questionnaire, it could be ECG, it could be EEG. All these things have been done. Okay, so in this, we have taken this huge big group. It was a group of 100 people. Some of them were pre-hypertensives, meaning their blood pressure was just below 140 and 90. They are pre-hypertensive. They will develop hypertension later on. And others were already established hypertensives on medication. They were already going to whichever doctor, whichever thing they like, allopathy, Ayurveda, whatever. We did not say, you should do this, you should do that. You take whichever medicine you are taking. We didn't say, stop the medicine. And we took a voluntary consent from all of them, and we told them, all that we are going to ask you to do is, one group you come, we'll give you the questionnaire, then you relax for some time. After you relax for some time, we did what was known as heart rate variability, which is taking ECG for some time and blood pressure also for some time. All right? And and we gave them, for the group, experimental group, we gave them either a CD, or we put in the pen drive, or we put it in their cell phone only. Okay? The Rag Bhimpalas in Basuri, that is flute, and we told them to listen to it for 15 minutes. Of course, the people who have come, they have come voluntarily, and they are people who are interested. But they don't know whether they are going into the control group or they are going into the experimental group. And we told them, you should do it for at least 5 days in a week. And we had people who were constantly ringing up every week, please, did you listen? If you haven't listened, at least if you have done only 3 days, please do it on Saturday, Sunday. We want you to do it. So there was somebody who was constantly checking to see whether it was done. Before we started this, We also had a 24-hour Holter blood pressure. So every half an hour, it's a horrible thing. The BP cuff will inflate and it will record. So this was done for 24 hours and we took the measurements. All this was done for growth for both the groups. After 3 more months, again we took the blood pressure measurement for 24 hours once, and we also recorded the ECG. Next slide. What we saw was there was decrease. See, when we say lifestyle change, what it means is reducing salt and being calm. That is what we said. Whereas the other group, along with the reducing salt, being calm, they also had to listen to the music. Even by reducing salt and being calm, there was a reduction in BP, which is what all doctors tell. Please be calm, don't get so angry, don't become stressful. Just saying that doesn't help. But by listening to music, what happened, what we saw was there was a decrease in diastolic BP, and in pre-hypertensive range, actually the blood pressure became very, very less. Okay, this is the next study. About 10 to 15 years ago, there was a big burst of BPOs in Bangalore. There was a big BPO thing in the Bangalore. If I speak, there is a, you want me to like this? Okay, there was a big BPO burst, and lot of children who were just pre-university children, all those were in pre-university, if they knew good English, they went into these BPOs and they started earning lots and lots of money. And most of them were working in the night, which is when the rest of the world is awake. When I say the rest of the world, I mean mainly USA as well as UK, Europe. And our children know English and they can change their dialect. If an American speaks, they speak American. If an Englishman speaks, they speak English. They are very good. And we know even now, see, people from America, whenever they ring up asking for some doubts, they don't know where the reply is coming from. Whether it's from America or from India, they don't know. But the problem here was our children, instead of sleeping in the night, they were awake. And we know that daytime is for work and nighttime is for rest. That is how our body has been designed. Yes, we do say some people are better off working later in the night, some people are better off working in the day, but still, everybody needs their sleep in the night. Definitely. If you do not sleep in the night, what will happen? Again, what do? We gave them a questionnaire. This was a simple question. Whenever they come for questionnaires, whenever anybody comes and tells me, do a question, madam, I will say, please don't want. That is an automatic response. Sometimes if I am in a good mood, I will say, okay, very few questions I will do. Because they will bring some 40 questions, relevant, irrelevant, and it is quite irritating. But anyway, this was a short questionnaire. They were all our friends. They said, okay, we'll do it. And so we gave it to them. And again, here also we measured the heart rate variability. And lo and behold, what we saw was that their sympathetic tone, we have something called as the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is not under our voluntary control. All right? So this is a sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is the one that stimulates. It increases the heart rate, it makes you breathe faster, and so on. Whereas parasympathetic in general calms you down. And once we ask children, we do not have any worries. We are happy. So there is a sympatho-parasympathetic balance. We don't even think. There is a balance. Whereas, as you grow older, you start getting necessary and unnecessary stress. sometimes necessary, but most of the time unnecessary. Because even if you do not get stressed, automatically that will go away. But we do not have the maturity to realize that. All right? But we saw just by not sleeping at the wrong time, and being awake at the wrong time. All these people, they were all very young, below the age of 25 to 30, 18 to 30, that was the age group. In all these people, the sympathetic tone was higher. Their blood pressure was higher, making them more vulnerable at a later age to hypertension, diabetes, and heart attack. That is why in India, which is unfortunately the diabetic capital of the world, one of the reasons being we have so much population. All right? Because of our way of life. That was the second study with music. We have done one more study. This you might find, see, mothers, what do we tell mothers? Be calm, don't stress yourself, don't see very things that make you scared. We tell everybody, if possible, say some mantras, go do some puja, you must be calm, be happy. But despite all these things, sometimes what happens is the babies are born premature. When a premature baby is born, as all of us know, the main thing that the babies need is breast milk. That is the most important food of a baby. And the thing that we did was, we again took these mothers of premature children. Of course, it was done in our hospital, MS Ramaya Hospital, with the consent of the mothers under the supervision of a pediatrician. So this pediatrician, he was also very interested. We told him, he only said, why don't you make these mothers listen to music? 20 minutes of music, relaxing music. And one of our students was very, very interested. She was very nice. She went. We gave this music. Again, full group is there, divided into two halves. One half, no music, just sit quietly. Another half listens to music. After they listen to music, see, these are mothers of premature babies. Of course, because they are premature babies, the milk has to be expressed. The babies cannot suck. They are such small babies. So the milk was expressed using a breast pump, and lo and behold, what we saw was all these mothers who listened to this music, the quantity of milk became much higher, significantly higher compared to the group that did not listen to music. This was relaxing music, they became relaxed, they had more milk, which is what is important for a premature baby. Okay, we know, we have this belief, but when we just say that to the whole world, many times the world will not believe. They say, show me solid evidence. So these are solid evidences, and underneath I have given you the name of the journal also. In some of them my name will be there, in some mine won't be there. Of course, I can't be there in everything. I have just put forward a collection. In all these things, I have been involved as one of the investigators. All right? Next, we'll go on to this. I'm sure all of you know it better than me. I am a practitioner of yoga. I believe in yoga. I think yoga is a way of life. All right? I don't think of doing asana as yoga, doing pranayama as yoga, and so on. It is a way of life. It's a whole change, way of life. So, again, in this, there are some aspects which we can actually scientifically evaluate. Some are not so easy to scientifically evaluate. And right now, yoga is popular all over the world. And sometimes we see people abroad do more work on yoga than us. But what I have presented here is a mixture of either. Next slide. So this is very common. I'm sure if you Just go into Google search and Google Scholar, you will have hundreds and hundreds of hits saying yoga is useful in type 2 diabetes mellitus. My main thing is, yes, it will not work in one day. It will not work in 1 week. Most of these studies, they do minimum of 2 weeks. The longer you do, if you make it a way of life, if you make it as long as you're alive, do whatever you can. If you can't do full Surya Namaskar, don't do it. Do whatever postures you can. For example, the older you are, maybe if you can't do Surya Namaskar, go on to pranayama. If you can't do pranayama, do meditation. Whatever you can. If you do it, definitely it has effects. This is a study done for almost 3 months, and they compared, as usual, control group and a group which was doing yoga. And the funniest thing was, in the group which did yoga, the effect was seen within 3 months. They did it for 6 months. I'm saying people do it for 15 days and so on. And I'm sure here in Prashanti Kutira also, they run regular programs for type 2 diabetes mellitus. The thing is, you go learn. If you are not very sincere, you come home and you forget about it. That is of no use. You have to continuously do it. Then definitely, I can guarantee it will give the necessary results. Okay, this is something which is done commonly. Next one. Pranayama, as you can see, the Ida, the Pingala, the Shushumna Nadi. This has been done extensively in Nimhans. We know what is Chandraveda Pranayama, Surya Breda Pranayama. One of them will stimulate the sympathetic system, other stimulates the parasympathetic system. They have done ECG, they have done EEG. All things have been done. And this is the scientific evidence. We know it. For some people, we say, you want to lose weight? Simple. Do one of them. But do they really do it? That is the thing. It is very, very useful and very effective also. And a lot of people know it, but they don't do it. Next slide. So this is for harmony between everything. And if you don't sleep, during sleep, we finish so many things. This is again from Nimhans. Next slide. Prana, I think you know what is prana. Without prana, once there is no prana, we are dead. Next one. So these are the